Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my top 10 fights in RWBY. Volumes 1 through 8 specifically, I guess, because obviously that's what's out currently. So this is a list I've actually wanted to make for quite a while. I've just never gotten around to going through all the fights in the series again and ranking them. But I finally did so, and yeah, I'm gonna say right off the bat that there's gonna be a lot of people who disagree with this list. I'm not going to say why or for what reasons or whatever, but there's going to be a lot of disagreement here, I feel. Um, so the rules for this are simple. It just has to be a fight within RWBY canon. So no RWBY chibi, obviously, but the trailers and stuff do count. Any trailers or whatnot before seasons are included. Because they are considered canon to the events of the series. So yeah, those will be in here. Will be able to be counted in here as well. There are a lot of fights in the series, so I did want to limit it to only the top 10. I could have gone for more, but I want to make this very definitive for me. And these fights, I'm ranking them based on just personal enjoyment of the fight, as well as the meaning behind it and the choreography. Those are kind of the big three factors I took into account. Personal enjoyment, because obviously with any series that has action scenes and fights in it, you want to enjoy them. You want them to be fun. They're their meaning and everything, because I feel like fights that are just there to look cool are honestly boring. A good fight will have deep meaning behind it, whether it furthers a character's story, the story of a series, or it helps develop the story or the characters as well. Which, yeah, I think a lot of fights in this series do, but to different degrees. And some of the fights also give a lot of looks into the characters. So I kind of took that into account. And of course, the fight has to be meaningful in some way to the series. Again, just a fight that's just there for cool action sequences, it doesn't mean anything. It's boring. It has nothing to back it up. And I actually heard someone make a good way to put it. I don't remember who it was, but someone said this. I think it was Blind Wave. I've been watching through their reactions again lately, because I had watched only up to a certain point with their reactions for some reason, and then I stopped, and it's been since they first released them 5 years ago. So I was watching through them again lately, and I've already surpassed where I originally got. But in one of their videos, one of them said, the first, I think it was Rick. I think it was when he first came in for Volume 6. He said the first 3 volumes felt like Monty wanted to show off these cool fight scenes with these badass girls and created the story to service that. But then starting in Volume 4 and with Volumes 4 and 5, since again, Rick said this at the beginning of Volume 6, I believe it was Rick who said this. But Volumes 4 and 5, on the other hand, felt like the story comes first and the fight scenes service the story, kind of the opposite. And that's actually a good way to look at it. Because I feel like in the first 3 volumes, at least until Volume 3, the story was kind of pushed aside a little bit. It was still there, but the fight scenes were definitely more focused on. And from what I've seen, from what people like to say, they tend to put the fights a lot of times first. Which is not what I do. I tend to always put story and character first. And I liked the story and character in the first 3 volumes. I thought it was still there and it was still good. But I think that in volumes 4 and on, they really started to focus on it more, and it started, the series became better because of it. And Volume 3 really did kick that off, but you know. So yeah, I guess just a difference in opinion there. But it's all based on what you want to see. So again, this is going to be my list based off of my interests, based off of what I like from this series, the things that I feel make this series as great as it is, even with some of the issues it does just inevitably have. Um, as long as it's a fight from the canon of the series, that's all that matters. I'm not taking into account like anything other, like, how do I put this? It doesn't have to be a long fight. It can be a very, very short fight, or it could be a long fight. It could take place over multiple episodes. But it could also just be a short, like, fight, or even part of a bigger fight. Like, there's some fights that feature multiple parts. Like, oh, these two characters will be fighting, but then it will show another part of that same fight where two other characters are fighting at the same time. And I might only include one part of that in there as the focus. But other ones I might include the entire grand scale thing. And it's just, it depends on the fight and what, like, the focus of it was and how it was split for me. And just what I think the best parts of it were. Um, it's all dependent on things, and it's all my opinion. So keep that in mind. I would love to hear your thoughts, though. So as always, the actual list is down in the description below because I'll be using clips because it's easier, and there's honestly not much to say about why I love these fights other than just the fact that I think they are cool. I think they fit the story and the characters well. All that stuff I mentioned before. And honestly, if I just try to talk about them, it would just come across as me saying the same stuff over and over. So I feel like I'm going to let the actual series do the talking by showing the clips. So the link is down in the description below, once again. And I would love to hear your thoughts, so tell me in the comments below as well on this video. What did you think of the fights in RWBY? What are your favorites? So on and so forth. And I would love to see what your lists look like in comparison to mine. Or what do you just think of my order, my list? Let me know all of that and more down below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the list.